Hey everyone, before I get into the details of the clutch itself, I just wanted to talk a bit about the mum. I feel like it's kind of important and relevant to why I'm here and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So this is Lucy, or Lucille Ball. I got her when she was a yearling, and she is currently 16 years old, so I've had her for at least 15 years. I think I got her when I was around 17 or 18 years old, and I'm now 33. So that's quite a long time. I'm somebody that when I acquire a pet, I don't get rid of them or dispose of them. I keep them for life, and I did a lot of research when I first got my first ball python, and I knew that they lived a really long time, but I also knew that their care was simple enough and not too invasive or expensive, so it was something that no matter what life threw at me, I could probably manage. So Lucy is a lemon pastel. When I first picked her out, she was the best looking of her clutch. She had the most stunning contrast and bright colors, and up until a year ago, she actually maintained her yellow really well. But apparently, as I've learned, breeding and all of the hormones that goes with that actually causes browning much more substantially than before. So that was interesting to learn, but she's still beautiful to me, and you know, she's an old girl, it's okay. She doesn't have to impress anyone. So ever since I got her and I discovered anything about ball pythons and morphs and breeding, I was interested in doing it myself, but I was like, 18, 19 years old. I didn't have my own home or anything, so I was like, I'll wait, maybe in the future. Then a few years down the road, I was like, she was an adult, and I was like, maybe now's the time. She still looked awesome, she was healthy, I was enjoying having her. And I was like, it would be really cool to get into breeding. And this was, over 10 years ago still at this point. And a few years back, I, thought about it seriously and thought maybe I'd want to do it again. And again, I moved, my life changed. So, you kind of get the recurring theme. I kept wanting to get into breeding over the years, over the last 16 years. And I never actually took the plunge for one reason or another, but I'm somebody that's very careful about the animals that I own, and how many and how well I care for them, and I want to keep them forever, so I want to commit. So I don't take those commitments lightly. So anywho, what finally kind of pushed me over the edge is my life is finally in a stable enough spot. My other businesses are doing well, and though I don't have a ton of money or a ton of space, it was enough that I could kind of get this started, and I figured, any extra income I could derive from this would be great, and it's already something that I love and something that I have a passion for. I've had her all of this time because I absolutely love the species. I don't care if people think that they're a pet rock. I think they're fantastic. So I finally got a male. He was about a year or so at the time that I got him, but I didn't breed him until like another 6 to 8 months later or something like that, and that was an enchi yellow-bellied fader. I believe that there's something else in there which I'm going to test for because a lot of the babies had strange markers. But, sometimes over at Nerd, they have so many ball pythons and so many varied genes and new genes that they're working on. I think he had something else that either they weren't aware of or they didn't think that it was necessary to charge me for, which either way, I don't mind. I've had this snake for this long, and I have never seen her behave the way that she behaved when we brought that male into the apartment. Not into the enclosure, not into the room, the apartment. She immediately started behaving strangely. She became more kind of aggressive and hungry. She would eat everything. She started gaining weight really rapidly. She was scenting and tail wagging. In all the years I've had her, I've never seen her do that. And I kind of had a feeling like, ever since she was an adult, that she kind of maybe wanted to breed. Animals are very instinct driven, and the instinct to breed is relatively strong, but I didn't know that she cared that much. Obviously, when I first threw our male in there, she was getting all up in his business, and he actually wasn't all that interested at first, but she tried real hard, and eventually she convinced him. So I think it was on the second pairing, somewhere around November. I did witness a lock, and I witnessed 4 more locks after that. And then I figured that she was big enough and close enough to ovulation that I did stop pairing. The male did go off of food for a month or a month and a half at that point, and he was already a little stingy, so he wasn't like a fat male. So I was like, you know what? I've seen them lock 4 times. Like, she seems pretty determined. She's a big old female. She can handle it. I don't need to pair them anymore. Well, she really wanted this to be a stupendous clutch because she took as long as she freaking could. She did not become gravid until about 9 months after the first pairing, maybe after the first lock. 9 months she was building these eggs, getting huge, pounding food. I mean, at least until she couldn't fit any more in her. I don't have an ultrasound. I can't afford an ultrasound. I'm not, money bags over here. I'm broke as hell. So I had to kind of just go off of her appearance and her behavior to know what was going on. And I'm a beginner, again, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I was just kind of relying on her, kind of ensure that this was going well. And though she took her sweet time, she did not disappoint. She did give me 9 very healthy eggs, all with very strong veins. Oh, God, Lucy. The reason I chose to breed her, even though she is a very simple morph, just lemon pastels do have stupendous, contrast and color retention. Even though I was inexperienced, I wasn't worried about her becoming egg-bound or producing infertile or not very strong eggs. I knew that I was going to be off to the best possible start because bigger females produce better clutches. I did follow a lot of the information and advice that I found online from other breeders on YouTube. Thank you so much to all of you guys, such as Olympus Reptiles and Mutation Creation, Canova, Rob from Royal Balls, there are various people. I did so much research over so many months. I'm still researching every day, and I consume hours and hours of informational content. So thankfully, once her job was done and she popped out the clutch, I was able to successfully incubate all of them until they hatched. One did unfortunately pass away the day after it hatched. I don't know why. I've asked around, and it could have been something I did, but I don't know what it was, again, because I'm inexperienced. But I tried to be careful. I wore gloves. I kept everything clean. I hope that it wasn't that I got some kind of bacteria in the egg after cutting. I didn't cut until day 60, so as a side note, if anyone's curious, I did incubate at around 87 to 89 degrees, more like 88. I didn't want to screw up the clutch by going too hot, and my incubator and thermostat were not great, so I figured it's better to be a little cool. And I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but most of the babies were born at a higher weight of around 70-something to 80-something grams. Only one of them was below 70 grams. It was actually 68. I'll have to keep experimenting, but it seems to me that the longer that they have to cook, the healthier that they come out, the bigger that they come out. Either way, I'm thankful that I have 8 healthy babies, 2 of which have already found homes. They're all beautiful. So them are doing well. A couple of them have to be assist fed. Again, it's another challenge, but it's working out. It's going okay. So I'm sure that they're going to be fine. I also heard this interesting theory from another breeder, and it's just a theory. I don't have enough data to see how reliable it is, but someone had suggested that because eggs have a tendency to grow bacteria and mold inside of the egg box because of all the moisture, a good way to remove a lot of the bacteria and to keep the air in there pure is to add activated carbon to the substrate, like your vermiculite or your perlite. And I was like, that's brilliant. I actually just so happened to have a ton of activated carbon lying around because I had a planted fish tank before. So I was like, it can't hurt. It's not toxic or anything. So I mixed it right into the vermiculite, and lo and behold, none of my eggs, even though I didn't know what the flip I was doing, had any bacteria or mold issues. They were all perfect, except for one had a tiny little spot. I'm going to keep experimenting with that. That was a pretty cool idea. I wish I could remember the breeder that suggested it. But if you're out there, thanks for that. That was pretty smart. God knows when you're just starting out and you're inexperienced, you need all the help you can get. So thank you to all of the breeders who put informational videos and articles out there. Thank you so much to New England Reptile for providing me my male. Thank you to Dave's Dragons for giving me Lucy here 15, 16 years ago. And thank you to Lucy for doing such a great job building that clutch and putting so much hard work into it and giving me all of these healthy babies. So I think that'll about cover this portion. Thank you for bearing with me, and now on to the clutch. So I woke up this morning and caught Lucy in the act of laying eggs. I see maybe 5 or 6 already, but I think she's still going. So we're gonna let her finish that up. This is clutch 1 of 2023. This is my first normal. She's a lovely little girl. She's very bold and brave, and she comes right out of the tub whenever I open it, and she's been very good about feeding. She actually has a home that she's going to this weekend. I don't know what her name is going to be yet, but congrats to whoever that is. You know, I know normals are a dime a dozen and everybody produces them, you know, as byproduct basically, but there's just something about that beautiful black and gold that never really truly gets old, and all of their patterns are unique. So, you know, a normal may be a normal, but sometimes a normal isn't a normal. Alright, this one was the smallest of the clutch, a birth weight of about 68 grams. The rest of them came out at about 70 to 80 something grams. So this one was kind of having a rough start right from the beginning. This is what I believe to be just an enchi. I'm not perfect at morph identification yet, but it could be enchi yellow belly because there is yellow belly in the clutch, but it looks like a normal enchi to me. I don't know. If somebody knows better, feel free to chime in. This little guy is not only very small, but has been the slowest to begin eating, unfortunately. It just recently took an assist feed and kept it down, but the first assist feed it did not. It actually regurged it, so this one will stay with me until I'm confident that it's going to be okay. It's a little boy, I think. I'm gonna have to resex all of them because I'm not perfect at sexing either. Okay, here we have another enchi combination. This one had really good birth weight. It did finally take its first meal on its own last week, so going to try to feed again tomorrow. I think that usually once they start striking and wrapping, they usually do pretty well. So even just for enchis, they're very nice looking enchis, and they all seem to have kind of that nice kind of peach and gold on the sides and a little bit of flaming. Again, some of these might be enchi yellow belly. Help me out, please, because I can't tell which are just enchis and which are enchi yellow bellies. So that would be great to know. This one is a girl, I think. Okay, now this third one I have a slightly more confidence that it's more than just enchi, because it has the most vibrant sides and flaming and peaches and oranges on the side. So this is most likely enchi yellow belly. There's also possible fader in the pairing, which I don't know how to identify myself, and I know a lot of people don't. So I don't know if that's influencing anything. I don't know what to look for. But definitely at least enchi, likely enchi yellow belly. We also have some interesting sort of belly tracks. I don't know how normal that is with enchi, showing my inexperience here. But I don't think that that's usually how it goes with yellow belly. I'm not sure. So yeah, pretty enchi something female. Alrighty, so this one's a bit more fun. This is the only straight up lemon pastel in the clutch. It was originally intended to be a pet for somebody that was buying a snake from me, but because of her attitude and difficulty feeding, they're getting a different, better snake. So this one's got enough of an attitude that they're going to stay with me until they are mellowed down a little bit and eating reliably. But this one just wants to kind of murder the world, so... Hello. Oh. Okay, acting a little less defensive for the camera today. This is odd. Usually this little guy wants to kill me. Maybe it's because she took her first meal recently, and maybe that has something to do with it. I still think she would strike at me if I gave her the chance. Yeah, there's the huffing. It's a plain lemon pastel, and she has the feist. Show them how feisty you are, little Miss Moody Pants. Still a very pretty snake. What I love about lemon pastels is that they retain their color exceptionally well. They maintain their golds and yellows, and they don't gray out like whitehead pastels do, and some other pastels. So this little guy will be very pretty for a very long time. I don't know if there's yellow belly present. There's a lot of interesting pattern going on, and again, we're getting some kind of belly tracks, which I don't know what that's about. I don't know how normal that is with pastel either, because, you know, the mother doesn't have that. And I'd have to do some genetic testing. I have no idea because I've had her for so long, and because where I got the dad from didn't really know 100% what he was. So there could possibly be hets involved. If anybody would like me to do some genetic testing before sending them a baby, if you're interested, I have no problem at all doing that. I actually want to test the parents anyway. So yeah, that's this lemon pastel female. Please don't bite me. Okay, and now we have what I believe to be a female pastel enchi. This little one is who was traded for the feisty lemon pastel. Fantastic color. So this one's a 2-gene combo, so they're actually getting a better snake out of the deal. But this one has a much better attitude, is eating a little bit more reliably. It's going to probably be a better pet overall, which is great because it is going to a beginner owner, and I prefer that. So this is a lovely little enchi pastel, possible yellow belly, but probably not. I actually have another one that's a little bit more striking in appearance, so I think that one's actually the yellow belly pastel. Pretty. Okay, one of the top 2 nicest examples in the clutch, what I believe to be male. This is a clearly at least lemon pastel yellow belly, and the flamings on this one is just, oh, look at that. Look at that lovely pattern. Contrast, really bright yellows, deep blacks, just a really cool, busy pattern. Again, the only thing I know of for sure is yellow belly pastel. It's already got great weight on him too, like wow. But this one does not have a home yet, so if anybody is interested, I prefer local. I am in New Hampshire, I'll deliver for free, no problem. I will ship if you want to pay shipping. Shipping is $50 flat rate. But I do still need to find, homes for the rest of these guys. There's only 2 of them that have a home. And again, lemon pastels are great as far as pastels go for combinations in any breeding because of how fantastic their color retention is. And, this little guy's got a really mellow attitude, is very tolerant, is eating well. So this is definitely one of the better babies of the clutch. And, I'm only charging average market value for a pastel yellow belly, so it is not an expensive snake by any means. So if you'd like this little guy, let me know. And now for my first holdback, who is the best looking of the clutch. We believe to be a lemon pastel enchi yellow belly. So we have these lovely thick flames and banding, really vibrant color, like stark yellow and black, really nice. Lovely head pattern, interesting head stamp. I've seen this head stamp on other morphs, but I don't know if I've seen it in these combos, so that's pretty cool. But I know that a lot of things can happen when you have, 3 genes or more in the mix. So this, I believe, is female. And I wanted to keep one of Lucy's offspring anyway, whether or not I breed them. Because, I've had her for 16 years, and after she's gone, I still want to have a piece of her. So this little guy will be with me forever, no matter what, whether or not it's a breeder. So I wanted just to be able to do my first trial run on a snake that I could screw up a little bit with, that I didn't have to be super careful. And I really wasn't. Like, I handled her all the time, just like normal. I wasn't perfect about humidity and temperatures and, enclosure types. I experimented with a million different things, and she didn't skip a beat. She did fantastic the whole time. That is my first clutch. If you are interested in anything that you've seen or to know more about me, I'm available on Morph Market, Instagram, here on YouTube, of course. Please check out my other videos, like and subscribe if you want to see more. And thanks so much for your time. We'll see you next time.